Reading with your kids.
Hola, ni hao, konnichiwa, assalamu alaikum, shalom, mahaba, ciao, bonjour, namaste, jumbo, bienvenidos. Hey, my name is Jedley. Welcome to Reading with Your Kids. We are coming to you from the beautiful neighborhood of Reedville, located in the southwest corner of Boston, Massachusetts, right in the shadow of the Great Blue Hills. We are so honored and so wicked happy that you join us in our mission to help all families grow closer through reading. We do that by sharing fun, thoughtful, and thought-provoking conversations with fascinating people who just happen to be writing books for kids of all ages. You can join us in that mission by telling all of your family and friends that they can find us on the WREB AM/FM 24/7 radio network, and they can find us on the iHeartRadio app, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Amazon Music, Good Pods, Podcast Addict, Audible, CastBox, Player FM, Boomplay, Ghana, wherever you find your favorite shows. October is Down Syndrome Awareness Month, and to celebrate, we will be welcoming Shirley Lopez to the show. She is here to tell you all about her two great kids' books, Liz and the Heart Doctor, and Liz Trains for Bike Ready Muscles. She also tells you about her wonderful daughter, Liz. We'll also be speaking to Danielle Lindner. She is a parent coach, and she's here to celebrate the Parent's Pocket Guide to Surviving the Preschool Years. Hey, my friends, we are really excited. Reading with Your Kids podcast is returning to the Chicago Toy and Game Fair November 9th and 10th at the Stevens Convention Center in Rosemont, Illinois. Let your imagination come to life at the Chicago Toy and Game Fair, the ultimate family play experience. Dive into hands-on fun with the hottest new toys and games, meet the inventors behind your favorite products, and even get a sneak peek at what will top holiday wish list this year. From interactive play zones to exciting competitions and exclusive giveaways, there's something for every member of the family at the Chicago Toy and Game Fair. And don't miss the Young Inventor Challenge, where kids showcase their creativity and innovation. Who knows? You just might meet the next big inventor. Join us at the Donald E. Stevens Convention Center in Rosemont, Illinois, November 9th and 10th. Whether you're a game enthusiast or just looking for a fun weekend with the family, the Chicago Toy and Game Fair has it all. And like I said, the Reading with Your Kids podcast will be there, and you may have a chance to be heard on the show. Get your tickets today and bring the magic of play to life. Visit shytag.com for details, and be sure to use the discount code READ, R-E-A-D, at checkout to save on tickets. Hey, parents and educators, are you looking for a fun way to help kids understand their feelings? Check out Felipe the Feeling Frog from the Caring Critter series, written by Zeba McGibbon. In this engaging book, Felipe explores his neighborhood and learns that there are no bad feelings, just easy and hard ones that need the right strategies for self-regulation. Perfect for kids ages 4 to 7, Felipe the Feeling Frog teaches essential emotional regulation skills through captivating and relatable stories, as well as adorable illustrations by Denise Walker. Written by a dedicated kindergarten teacher, Felipe the Feeling Frog shows children that all feelings are okay, but it's how we manage them that matters. Felipe and his friends model different emotions and strategies, making it easy for kids to learn and apply these skills. Don't miss this valuable resource for social and emotional learning. And stay tuned for more from the Caring Critters series, including the upcoming Trixie the Thoughtful Turtle. Grab your copy of Felipe the Feeling Frog today and help your child navigate their emotions with a smile. Join us right now from the beautiful state of Florida. Our guest is here today to celebrate her new children's picture book. It's called Liz and the Heart Doctor. Please welcome to the show, Shirley Lopez. Shirley, how are you?
Hi, how are you? Hi, everyone.
I'm delighted. You know, for those of you who are listening to the show, I'm sitting here. Shirley has this huge smile. She is just radiant, and she is so excited to talk to us about her books. And not only Liz and the Heart Doctor, but Liz Trains for Bike Ready Muscles.
Yes.
Liz is somebody pretty special in real life.
Yes, she is. She's super special. She's my soon-to-be 13-year-old daughter. She was diagnosed Down syndrome at birth. Actually, I didn't know she was Down until after I gave birth. So it was quite a shocker. It changed our life in so many ways. In the beginning, it was hard. It was hard to inhale and all this diagnosed. I had no idea what it consisted and what I needed to do. First time mom, super young. And, afterwards, reading other people's experiences, searching for information in support groups. Well, I became this mom, this dedicated mom to make sure that Elizabeth can achieve all that she can. Yeah. So these books are pretty much inspired in her challenges and her life journey, but in a fun and cute way for kids.
Yeah. Well, I love this. We celebrate the fact that books can be mirrors, windows, and sliding glass doors.
Yes.
And obviously a kid who has Down syndrome, it would be great to see themselves portrayed positively in the pages of books. But I really celebrate the power of books to be a window, to be able to look into the life of somebody who is different than me, in order for me to understand that, yeah, they're different. They might speak a different language. They might come from a different place, eat different foods, do things differently. But in the end, that's just another kid. And I could be friends with that person.
Yes.
Yeah.
So it's amazing because when she looks at herself in the books and she's with her friends and her friends see the books, or she meets someone new and they see the book, she's like, that's me. And they're like, oh my God, that is you. So it's nice. It's nice because she's able to tell her story to them and kind of, just spread more awareness about her diagnosis and kind of also see that she's just like them and has challenges like any other kid.
Yeah. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Now, you were sharing with me Liz and the heart doctor. I'm imagining people out there thinking, oh, why does a kid need a heart doctor?
Oh,
Liz went through some pretty major things when she was a kid.
Yes. Well, one of those things, a lot of children with Down syndrome tend to have different type of extra needs, right? Elizabeth was born with a couple of heart defects, and at 6 months of age, she had to get open heart surgery. It was a tough thing to go through and receive the news that she would need that kind of surgery. They need to patch some things up, and I just had faith, and I just said, okay, let's go. Do what you have to do, make sure that she's okay, and thank goodness that everything came out beautifully. She's a strong girl now, but in the moment, I know it can be tough. So that's why this book is so dear to me. And it was the first one because it was my first milestone and really something that I really had to go through. And I would like other parents to tell their kids that it'll be okay in the long run.
Yeah. I want to take a moment. I'm imagining, I remember when my son was born and my life changed. This little guy comes into my life, holding him for the first time. I've said here on the show, I used to love reading Stephen King and all these horror books. And I was in the middle of an Anne Rice novel. My son came into my life. We got home a couple of days later. I went to pick up that book and I said, no, I don't want to be in this world at all.
Yeah.
And then shortly, a few months later, we went and he had a cold and they took an x-ray and he was wiggling. And the first reading of the x-ray was like, oh my goodness, he has an enlarged heart. You have to see a heart surgeon immediately. And I almost melted. I mean,
yeah.
I was crazy.
You turned all colors.
Yeah. Thankfully. Yeah. Just like my shirt. Thankfully they just misread it, but, and he was fine, but I'm imagining in 6 months time, your life turned upside down. I'm imagining you had this child, you're expecting a typical healthy child.
Yes.
Oh, Shirley, Liz has Down syndrome. And then 6 months later, heart surgery.
Yes. So when I gave birth, actually, I was, and in my website, I talk a little bit about this. You go through a process. It's like a phase. Just like, first thing is denial, and I'm going to admit it was so rough because I just didn't believe it. The things that they would say in the beginning was like, oh, she has some signs. And I'm like, what kind of signs? I have all those signs, your eyes, your fingers, your this, your that. I gave every sort of excuse, right? Because in the beginning, especially if you're not prepared mentally, you just receive this like news, you just don't want to believe it. So, when I went through that, it took a while. Doctors had to come, you see all these doctors rushing in and, try to deliver this news to you in so many ways. But, I'm just like, tell me. And then when they told me, again, I was in denial. And after I was like, I need to see analysis. I became this person where I was like, no, I need proof. And when the proof came in, it took a couple of months after her birth and, after some digging, some research, some reading books about how parents have gone through this for me to understand that this is a blessing. And I know it's hard to say and maybe, hard to conceive, but at the end of the day, she has changed my life completely. I was young. I was like 21, 22 years old. And I had to become this mom, which normally, I always thought I was going to be a good mom, but then after I had to be like a little extra because now it talks about, therapies, you need to research and things, what you can do to make her life better. And that's what I did. And I became completely, I just lived a lot for her in those years, in the beginning of her years where the milestones that she needs to reach just becomes a little complicated, which is learning to walk, going to doctors in and out, being okay with going to the doctors. And that's why Liz and the Hot Doctor is about, which is hard to be okay because you have to get these lab works done all the time and you're being pinched left and right. You have to go to physical therapy, occupational therapy, and so on and so forth. That's only if it's about the heart because you also have other things to go to check yourself for. So at the end of the day, after I went through all of that and now that I can look back, I can say that I'm blessed because I became a whole new person and I can actually talk to other parents about my experience and give them hope, and new parents especially.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Can we talk just a little bit about, for folks out there who are listening who don't know what Down syndrome is, can you just give us an overview of what that means to say that Liz has Down syndrome?
Yeah, so she says trisomy 21. One of she has an extra chromosome, 21. So, it just changes everything. It just to put it in a more simpler terms, it changes her intellect. She's, you can push them as much as you want, right? And some of them are able to go to college and some of them are able to go to high school, but in general, it's really tough for them. It's really tough for their educational level. It's not as where it should be. Mm-hmm. So if right now she's 12, she's supposed to be she's going to be 13. She's supposed to be in 7th grade. Her intellect is not 7th grade. It's probably more like a 3rd grader. Mm-hmm. But if you push them enough, eventually they can get there. You know what I mean? They have low muscle tone. So as you grab something, you pick up a phone, for her, it's like carrying 10 pounds on each hand every time she grabs something. So it's there's a lot of, it's hardships for her. Jumping, walking for her took till she was 2 to walk, as a typical child learns at 1. So it's a lot of intellectual delay, but it also has physical, which is low muscle tone. So that's like when you see someone, and then the physique, her face, her facial, a lot of the kids with Down kind of look similar. Their faces, their eyes are a little bit more wider and, her face is a little bit more flat. This is because of the low muscle tone. Is that the tongue? It's physical and also mental. Mm-hmm. So you'll be able to, when you see a child out there, you kind of can know if they have Downs.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
But as you said, kids with Down syndrome, I know when, almost 100 years ago when I was in school, if somebody said, oh, they have Down syndrome, there'd be they can't do anything. But we know now that, as you said, some kids with Down syndrome go to college. We had Maya Armstrong on, who is a young woman who is the voice of an animated TV show on Nickelodeon and doing amazing things. So it's just a reminder that we shouldn't be just like
limiting them.
Yeah, you don't want anybody making assumptions about what your kids can't do. We just give
Yes.
them all the support they can have
Yes.
so they can be all they can be.
As if the more support they receive from you, from the community, from their peers, their teachers, the schools, they can really do more than you think they can. You know, there's no limit if you just keep pushing them and you make them believe that they can, you know, and that's actually my mission, because I see that a lot, you know, when I see parents, new parents especially, you know, that may not have that much knowledge in this world yet. I like to let them know about what they can and cannot do, put them, you know, in hands with maybe services, and let them know about programs and scholarships that, you know, there may be available to them, and therapies that may be available to them. And I like to connect them with other people as well, because, you know, just to give them everything that I wish I knew back in the day. I'm from New York. So in New York, there's a lot of resources, but I didn't know how to get them and where to get them. But now that I do, I would like to make that path easier for the new parent.
Yeah.
So if you push them enough and you believe in them, I promise you they can go far. Like Elizabeth, you look at her and she's super high functioning, but because I made it like my mission that for her to know that she is the same.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And you said a couple of things I want to just kind of circle back to. You said that her friends, I think that's the biggest thing. I've talked here on the show. Back in 1987, I was hired by a school for kids with severe developmental disabilities.
Wow.
And my job was to give our kids opportunities to develop friendships in the community. At that time, kids with, you know, severe developmental disabilities were just kind of that they lived in institutions. They, you know, went to school in a hospital. That's where our school was. They didn't have opportunities to develop friendships, but Liz has friends.
Yes, she does. And it's so cute when you see her FaceTime her friends. So she has had the opportunity to make friends, in school. She does many activities. I like to keep her busy, and so the beauty of our kids is that they're very loving and very caring, very forgiving, and they make friends so easily because they love everyone that they see, and you're their friend right away, you know, and she's able to make these connections with other kids that it's so sweet, because she's like their leader sometimes, or she's like their mom sometimes. She comes out with all these personalities, and it's beautiful to see these connections, and that also can make the same type of friendships that any other kid can make and us adults can make. And actually, I feel like they're more real. They're more intense because they love with care. They love with intensity, you know, and they really do.
Yeah. Yeah. The other thing you said was that you think Liz was a blessing for you.
Yes.
I'm imagining there are people out there thinking open heart surgery and Down syndrome and special need. How is that a blessing?
Well, it just depends on everyone's life, but in mine, I can tell you, she has to be a blessing. She came at a moment in time where I was super young. My priorities were totally different, to be honest. They were not having children. And I was actually just starting, you know, my career and all these other things. And, when she came along, my priorities totally shifted. It became all of family. My family came together, much more united. You know, sometimes we grow up and everyone parts ways because, you know, cousins and aunts and parents and daughters and siblings, they part ways because everyone has to live their life, and it's understandable. But when you have a child that needs of its family, it's a blessing because everyone comes together. And thankfully I've had that experience where everyone came together and, helped me emotionally, physically, you know, support in every way They believed in her as much as they believe that I can be that kind of parent for her. And that's why it became a blessing. It made my marriage even stronger because we had to become this team where a marriage should always be a team, but now it had to be like double team because now we had to be in and out of places where we didn't think we would have to be. And now we do. It's not about us anymore. It's about her and helping her grow. Yes. So it was a blessing in every single way.
Yeah. A few years ago, and I don't know how to say, I'm just going to say it. It might come out awkward, but I know
No worry.
few years ago, I was reading an article, and it was a celebration. It was one of the Scandinavian countries. I don't know if it was Denmark or the Netherlands, but they came out and they said, "We've eliminated Down syndrome in our society." And I was heartbroken.
Yeah.
Because I know the only way you can eliminate Down syndrome is to eliminate the people.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if you were aware of that, but
I heard.
How did that hit you? How did you react when you heard that?
It's rough because, I respect everyone's decisions. I'm from New York, so I tend to be more of like, okay, it's me. I make my own and everyone, decides their best for them. But for me to just imagine a life, if I would have known and maybe would have taken that path before, just imagining my life without her, I don't even think I would be where I am now. My family would totally not be where it is now. I think everything has been, everything has grown around her. And we have pushed ourselves to succeed as much as we can just to give her a better life. So maybe I wouldn't be where I'm standing right now. I wouldn't be looking at you right now. I wouldn't even have these lovely books right now. I wouldn't have met the beautiful people I have met in this community. And just to see other people maybe not wanting to have to go through that, maybe it's because they don't know. They don't know. They don't have that awareness because they just see them as maybe, sadly, some people may see them as a burden, but they're not. They're just not. They're really out there to love you just like any other child. They're there to care for you. They're there to just have these happy moments just like any other child. Yes, they require extra work, but so what? So what? So yeah, it did sadden me to hear that news, but I wouldn't change this path. I wouldn't. I have more kids. I have 4. And I was asked after Elizabeth if I wanted to do testing. And I said no. Because why? What for? I'm still going to have them no matter what. So,
beautiful.
That's my personal opinion about that.
We didn't touch on Liz Trains for Bike Ready Muscles. Just give us a quick little overview about what that book is all about.
Oh, that book has been so fun. I've heard a lot of good things about them from people because it's, so because she has low muscle tone, it took a while for her to ride a bike. And still to this day is something where she knows how to ride it. But the problem with them is that they get tired quickly. Their muscles, they get tired quickly. Their joints, everything just starts hurting. So we had to go through this process of like getting her to work out and do their physical therapy. My son is in soccer, likes to help her do some exercise, just to kind of build that muscle. Again, since she's low muscle tone, she doesn't last as long. So the cool thing about this book and what I love about it, that it's not about just like accomplishing a goal. It's about everyday working at the goal. Mm-hmm. And that's what I like about this book. And I hear a lot of people liking that part too. It's because we as humans, anyone doesn't just go and accomplish a goal. A lot of goals that we have to work at it every single day. And sometimes it's not something you can just go to. It's something you just got to keep working on. And I love that. And I love that about her life. So she really tries hard and just to achieve today. Mm-hmm. And tomorrow's another day, and then the day after that. So that's what this book is pretty much about.
Beautiful. How many books are you planning for this series?
So, my goal is to have about, a dozen of these books before I take out the adult book. I have not started that book because it is something really dear to me and a really emotional piece that I have started, but I haven't been able to quite finish, not even the first chapter, because it's very emotional to write. So I'm hoping that I can get that done soon because everyone's waiting for it.
Well, we have an open invitation when that book is done.
Thank you.
On the show. And with any book in the series, we'd love to have you
Thank
back.
you. Thank you.
Where can we go to find out more about Liz and more about you?
So you can find us in cloudstars.com, or you can find us on Instagram at Above the Clouds and Stars. They're both plural, Above the Clouds and Stars. I love to be on Instagram, and on the website I try to post as much information as possible. But Instagram, you'll find us like more on the day-to-day.
Wonderful. We had a really wonderful time speaking to the author of Liz and the Heart Doctor. Our guest has been Liz's mom, Shirley Lopez. Shirley,
thank you
for being with us.
Thank you for having me.
Are you looking for a creative way to bond with your kids? Let me tell you all about Drawing with Your Kids, the ultimate destination for artistic adventures. Join us as we dive into the wonderful world of children's books with renowned illustrators guiding you step by step. From beloved characters to whimsical scenes, unleash your imagination and create cherished memories together. Whether you're a seasoned artist or just picking up a pencil, there's something for everyone at Drawing with Your Kids. Please visit our website, readingwithyourkids.com, and click on the Drawing with Your Kids link at the top of the page and let the creativity flow. Drawing with Your Kids, where every stroke brings stories to life. Before we invite our guest into the studio, I would love to invite you to visit a very special website. It's clownswithoutborders.org. Clownswithoutborders.org. This is a group that I absolutely adore. I am part of Clowns Without Borders, and I had the honor of being part of the 2023 tour of El Salvador. I had so much fun joining with artists from all over the world to bring a smile to people who really needed it and really appreciated it too. And we would love for you to join us as a monthly Joy Maker. The Joy Makers, they're a family of people just like you who love to laugh and make other people feel good. So please take a moment and visit clownswithoutborders.org and consider joining me as a Joy Maker. Hey, are you ready to ignite a passion for reading in your students? Introducing bookandauthor.com, your gateway to literacy connections. With bookandauthor.com, connecting your school with talented authors of captivating kids' books has never been easier. Simply visit our user-friendly website and explore our extensive database of authors. Filter your search based on budget, genre, and availability. Discover the perfect match for your school and your students. But that's not all. With bookandauthor.com, you have the power to request a proposal. Let vetted authors come to you with their tailored ideas, ensuring an unforgettable literacy experience for your students. Don't wait any longer to inspire young minds through the magic of books. Visit bookandauthor.com today and open the door to a world of literacy connections. Bookandauthor.com, where literacy comes to life. Join us right now from the great state of New Jersey. Our guest is returning to Reading with Your Kids to celebrate her brand new parenting book. It's called The Parent's Pocket Guide to Surviving the Preschool Years. Please welcome back to the show, Danielle Lindner. Hey, Danielle.
Hello. Thanks for having me again.
Hey, great to have you on. Good to see you. It's, yes, it has been a while. I think you were on in 2018 or 19.
Yeah.
And here we are after the pandemic, after all the craziness, and you're back with a new parenting book.
Yes, I am.
Excellent. Tell us all about it.
So, I started a preschool 15 years ago, and I say I kind of became a little bit of a bartender, in terms of parents would come in, they'd sit down in my office and kind of bare their soul and tell you everything that's going wrong in their lives and in their children's lives, and just worried about, what do I do if they keep biting? Why aren't they going to sleep? Why is there always a bedtime battle? How do I get them the transition better? And so for years and years, I kind of coached and counseled hundreds of parents. And I realized finally that these are all things that every parent deals with. It's not just the parents that I'm encountering over the 15 years. It's every parent. I mean, it's myself. So I thought it would be a really good idea to put together kind of a guide for parents of these little ones, and that would address not every issue, because there's so many, but like the top 20, 21 issues that come up. And that way I could kind of impart some knowledge to more than just the people that come to our preschool. Mm-hmm. And then I also started parent coaching virtually so that I could help more parents, wherever they're located, kind of tackle some of these issues, because the tips in the book are great and they work, but every child is different. So if you don't actually have a parent coach that kind of says, well, tell me about your child and your specifics and the things that are affecting your family specifically, then it's hard to kind of fine tune those things. And so now, and I say to parents, you know, people will go for therapy, you know, and that's a lifelong commitment. Parent coaching isn't a lifelong commitment, because, you know, a couple of sessions, usually you can bang out, you know, the issue, and then you just have check-ins, you know, once a month or every couple of months. It's not something where it's this deep, dark, you know, I have to think about how I was raised as a child and what happened to me. It's just like, this is my child, here's the problem, here's the toolbox, here are the strategies, and let's get to work.
You know, as you're talking, some people out there might go, oh, this coaching stuff, it's so new and out, but it really isn't, because back in the days when families were close together, I've mentioned this on the podcast, I had both sides of my family living within a mile, in a mile radius of our house. So when there were parenting issues that popped up, you know, my father's mother was down the street. Her sisters, my mom's sisters, were down the street the other direction. So they had built-in coaches in the families. But now we're spread out. You know, we don't see each other. We're in different states. Yeah. We keep in touch by phone, but it's not the same as sitting down and getting a detailed time with a coach, someone who's been through it.
Yeah, and parents are struggling too with keeping up with the Instagram culture, you know. Every mom on Instagram looks perfect. They look amazing. They look like they're not having any issues. No mom is posting a picture of their child having a tantrum. Like, who's going to do that? And so I say first of all, don't get Instagrammed, because that's the biggest trick out there. And I always tell this story about my family. We went to Italy and we came back and everyone said, oh my God, your trips looked absolutely amazing. And it did, based on my Instagram posts. But the reality was both kids came down with COVID. The medicine got confiscated by customs. My daughter broke her foot on the last day there, and my husband got sick on the plane home. But I wasn't posting that. I was posting the 5 minutes here and there that no one was coughing and that, like, we looked pretty.
I don't know. Your husband being sick on the plane, that might have went viral.
Yeah, it probably would have. Yeah, it probably would have, especially since he had a dizzy spell and someone thought it would be a good idea for him to put 2 paper cups over his ears. Now, that does nothing. It did not work, but it looked ridiculous.
I'm trying to. I'm just guessing someone was pranking you. Let's see if this American will put the cups on his ears.
Exactly. So I just say you can't just blame yourself and do this mommy shaming business and watch this Instagram stuff, and just know that if you're struggling with it, whatever it is, I mean, from something as serious as a child having say a defiance disorder, which is a very serious issue, to a child who's just, a little, cranky, their parents, thousands and thousands of parents that have dealt with all of them, both of them.
Mm-hmm.
So no matter how bad it is, someone's dealing with it.
Yeah.
And it's just about getting the right help, really.
Absolutely. I hadn't thought, we've talked a lot here on the show about kids and social media and how we can help our kids not be bullied online and not, become a victim of creepy adults, and, not have to put up with that. I'm not perfect, and help kids understand that, all those models are photoshopped and all that. I never thought about the parents and parent shaming and feeling inadequate because they're looking at all these mom influencers and they seem like perfect, and their kids are angels all the time.
Yeah, they look perfect. And what people have to remember is Instagram is marketing. Whether it's a personal account or a business account, it's all about marketing and putting your best self out there. And that's what very few people, except for, say, comedians, are going to put like their worst self because it's funny. Mm-hmm. And they know it's going to get the laugh because people really relate to the worst self. They're putting out their best self because it's all about marketing. Mommy influencers get paid to, show their perfect kids dressed up in the perfect outfits and using certain products, and companies are making money by having great posts, and it's all marketing. It's marketing. And I think we really fall prey to it, especially as parents, and we feel bad, like, how are they all doing this and I'm not? I think a good example is Shark Tank. You watch people, as an entrepreneur, I would watch Shark Tank and think, I don't know, what am I doing wrong? Like, these people are getting these deals, they're making $10 million, $30 million. And then you dive a little deeper and you realize, yeah, they brought in $10 million, but it cost them $11 million to deliver their product, and they're actually in debt. Mm-hmm. So there's a lot behind the curtain, it's a lot of the great Oz kind of, so to speak, I think.
Yeah, we've talked here about the importance of parents helping their kids be media literate, and we also have to be media literate.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah. Tell me, what are some of the those you mentioned that you give advice for like 21 different issues. What would you say is the number one issue that most parents are experiencing?
I don't know. There's so many, but one that I think that every parent experiences that they don't talk enough about is holiday stress. And that's coming up soon, believe it or not. And parents always feel that their kids have to be dressed perfect, and that they have to, have the bows in the hair and the beautiful dress, and they have to go from house to house, and they have to make every single family member happy, and holidays have to be perfect. And I always say, you're setting yourself up for a disaster every holiday if that's how you approach it. So, it's fine to dress your kids up, take your photo, and then put them in casual clothes that you don't care if they get a lollipop stuck to it. Mm-hmm. Like, put them in comfortable outfits after your photo, or do your photo another day. That's even better. And then if you have little children, make sure kids get naps before the events, because they get tired and they can't go from Aunt Millie's house to Uncle Bobby's house to Grandma's house, then to Grandpa's house. It's too much for them, and they're going to have a meltdown because they're exhausted.
Right.
And the other thing is, if you have little children, sometimes you say to your family members, look, we're going to space the holiday out over the whole vacation week. And we're going to go to one person Christmas Eve and one person on Christmas. And then the day after we'll do another person. Or for the next 5 years, I need you coming to me because I can't drag my kids all over the place. It's just too stressful.
Mm-hmm.
And I also say, and don't overcommit. Don't commit to make all the cookies for the holiday party when you have two or three small children at home, when you even have one small child at home. Just don't commit to it. Say, if you need me to bring something, I'm happy to bring it, but go buy them at the bakery. Don't overcommit and just make things so much harder on yourself as a parent and harder on your kids, because then the holidays aren't really about being with family and about enjoying each other. They're about screaming and yelling and trying to get through it rather than enjoy yourself.
Boy, I can relate to that, getting the kids dressed up. One year, I think I was 7 or maybe 8. My birthday landed on Easter. And it was the most miserable birthday I've ever had in almost 100 years of life. It was in a suit with the tie on all day visiting. And it was like, I don't want to do this. This is terrible.
Yeah.
So,
and I think that's all part of that, culture of trying to be perfect and parents thinking the family is going to look down upon me if the kids aren't dressed perfectly, if they're not in the little suit with their little bow tie or their bows and their white dress. And I say, literally, why should you worry about, you're going to just be worried that they're going to mess themselves up all day. And you're going to just be concerned that that when they're eating, they're going to drip something on their beautiful outfits. So why put yourselves through it? There's no reason.
Yeah. And to all the aunts and uncles and grandparents that are listening, you went through this. You know that your kids are going to be stressed. So
yeah,
don't take it personally. If, Grandma, I can't see you on Christmas Day or on the first day of Hanukkah, but I can see you on the 6th day. I can see you the day after Christmas.
Right.
And that's going to be even more special because it's not going to be rushed. I can just spend the day with you.
Exactly. This year, we had so many different things going on, and it was Father's Day. And I said, this year I'm taking charge, and we're not going to go to the buffet that everyone hates. That's $1 billion because no one likes it. And we have a bunch of dads. So I have my husband. He's a dad. I have my father. We have his father. My brother's a father. So I said, this year, everybody's going to pick a different day and do something special with their dad. And we're not getting together on Father's Day. And so I took my dad out, I don't know, it was like a Tuesday around Father's Day. And we went to this really cool garden. We walked around. I taught him how to take fun photos with the iPhone because that's kind of my hobby. And we walked around and we just laughed, and then we went and had lunch together. And it was probably one of the best times I've spent with my dad since he took me to the Empire State Building and I was like 7. And, my husband took his dad, who's 94, to a movie, and he was just like thrilled by it. It was the best thing. He was so excited just to go to a movie. And then my brother did something with my dad another day. And then my girls took my husband out on one of the nights for dinner, just the 3 of them. Like, I didn't even go. It was their time. And it was unconventional, but it was the best.
Yeah. Yeah. One of the things I taught my son when he was growing up is I love to buy flowers for my beautiful wife. And I'll do it at least once a week, except on Valentine's Day. I don't buy her any flowers on Valentine's Day because those flowers that I'm getting for $10, $12
exactly,
they're like $70, $80. No way. And my son has learned.
Yes, exactly. It's not worth it.
Right. Right. Yeah, this whole idea, and I see lots of people do it, and I was probably guilty of it when I was younger, but that, what was it, the FOMO, fear of missing out?
Yes,
It's like everybody's doing it, so I have to be there. I have to go to this
exactly.
restaurant, and I'm going to stand in line, an hour and a half to get into this restaurant, and gee, it's kind of good, but I didn't want to wait an hour and a half for it.
Right. Yeah, there's so much fear of missing out. And I've gotten into a time in my life where I kind of enjoy missing out. For my birthday present, when I turned 50, I gave myself the gift of not going to baby showers or bridal showers anymore. And I know that sounds terrible, but of course, if it was my children, I would go to theirs. But I just felt like I have so little free time, and I'm spending my weekend at these things where the person doesn't really want me there. It's not like they're my family member. They don't really care. They really just want my check. They're happy with that. And I don't want to sit there saying ooh and ah about gifts that in reality, I don't really love all of them. It's just, and so I said, for my 50th birthday, that's the gift I'm giving myself. The gift to say no. I'm not doing that.
And we're laughing at this, and this is advice for parents, but I think if we talk about how important it is to model, if we are modeling this to our kids and letting them know that, no, we're going to take control of our life. We're not going to have other people tell us and put pressure on us.
Yes.
Where we need to be and how much we need to spend. And I think that is a beautiful, wonderful gift that we can give to our kids.
It's also, it also goes hand in hand. I have a chapter in my book about, along with the holidays, is sometimes we feel we have to force our children to be polite in the sense that go give Aunt Matilda a hug. She wants a kiss. Go hug Uncle, Bobby. And that's a really bad thing to do to kids, because if they feel that they want to give a hug, great. If they don't, that's fine too. And we have to give our kids the authority over themselves and their own being to know when something's uncomfortable and to say no and to support the no. Mm-hmm. And, say you need to be polite and you can't be rude, but you don't have to hug anyone you don't want to hug. You don't have to kiss anyone you don't want to kiss. Like, you don't have to. The gift of fear is a great thing. And if a child feels apprehensive about something, forcing them to do it is only going to hurt them later on down the road.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. You were mentioning that you're in the daycare business, and I was curious. My beautiful wife taught for 34 years, and she saw so many changes in education.
Yes.
The last 15 years of her career were really, really, really difficult. What about in the daycare sphere? Have you noticed a big change in the way parents are relating to daycare teachers or directors, or what's going on there?
I think over the past 15 years, I have seen a shift from parents who really want to be present and involved and take part in their child's educational experience to, and not all parents, but to seeing more parents that want to just pay their tuition and leave it to the teacher to take over the educational experience and say, I'm paying you to do this and I have a job to do. So I'm seeing a lot of that, which makes me sad because this homeschool connection is so important. And also there's less respect for teachers, I think, than there previously was. And I always ask parents that, for the most part, at least the teachers that work for me, we treat the children like they are our own kids. We love them and want the best for them. And when they graduate and go to kindergarten, you see real tears from our teachers because they have a real sense of loss. They really feel happy for them to move on, but sad because they have loved them for, sometimes since they're 2 years old and now they're 5, and it's a great loss.
Mm-hmm.
And I just say, partner with your preschool, partner with the preschool teachers. Be as involved as you can be. There are some jobs where it's really hard. It's really hard to get out during the day and make the time. It really is. But then send a note. Send a nice note to the teacher thanking them for taking such great care of your child. Like, just show gratitude.
Mm-hmm.
Because what we teach our children, they model. Mm-hmm. And if the parent shows gratitude towards a waiter, a waitress, a teacher, any service person, that child's going to learn by example, and they're going to emulate that. And you're going to get kind, sweet, loving children, because they want to do what they think the parent is expecting of them. And if they see a kind, happy, grateful parent, they're going to want to be the same type of kid. Mm-hmm. So I'm hoping that we're getting back to that. It's been a tough world, with COVID and masking and kids being very behind because they had 2 years where they had a mask on and they weren't seeing their teacher smile. They weren't getting that linguistic exposure. So kids are really, they're behind. They're behind. They're still catching up. But we're getting there. I think we're getting there. And it's just, we have to just remember what we put out there in the universe is what we're going to get back. And if you want a nice teenager, raise a nice little child.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. Great words of wisdom. I really love that. We should tell everybody where they can go to find out more about the Parents' Pocket Guide to Surviving Preschool. Oh, my goodness. Tell us where we can find your book, Danielle.
Sure. They can go right to my website. It's DanielleLindner.com. It's Danielle, Lindner, LINDNER.com. And there they can see my children's books. I have 16 children's books based on character ed. They can find the Parents' Pocket Guide. They can book a consult for coaching. And then there's a whole lot of free resources as well.
Awesome. We've had a great time speaking to the author of the Parents' Pocket Guide to Surviving the Preschool Years. Our guest has been Danielle Lindner. Danielle, thanks for being back with us.
Thank you for having me. It was so fun.
We hope you've enjoyed this episode of Reading with Your Kids. We hope you enjoyed it so much that you're determined to listen to the next episode of the show. Hey, you know what would really help us a whole lot is if you would leave a 5-star review on Amazon or Spotify or whatever podcasting platform you may be listening to. And if you're listening to us on the WREB AM/FM 24/7 radio network, please let your local station manager know that you love Reading with Your Kids. We'd love for you to connect with us on social media, Facebook.com/ReadingWithYourKids, @ReadingWithYourKids on Instagram, and @JedleyMagic on Twitter. We have a great YouTube channel, YouTube.com/ReadingWithYourKids. You can find all of our Stimmy fun and our Drawing With Your Kids videos on our YouTube channel. We'd love for you to visit our website, readingwithyourkids.com. You can check out our blog, visit our Reading With Your Kids Certified Great Read Wall of Fame, and use the contact button up at the top of the page to send us a message. We'd love to know what you love about the show. We'd love to know what you think we could be doing better. And we'd also mostly love to have you tell us who you would like to hear on a future episode of the show. And I'm very sincere about that, my friend. My son, back in 2018, my son called me up one day and said, hey, you should have LeVar Burton on your show. And I said, yeah, I should have $1 million in the bank too, but neither one of those things are going to happen. But I listened and I reached out, and boy, oh boy, I had such a wonderful time speaking to LeVar. It's one of our favorite and most popular episodes. Hey, if you're an author, please be sure to click the Authors Click Here button at the top of readingwithyourkids.com. You can find out how you can be a guest here on the show. It's perfectly fine to send us a contact message and say, I think I should be on the show. Being a guest, it's fun, it's easy, and it gives you the chance to tell thousands of Kidlit fans about your great book. And those fans, they're from all over the world. We've been downloaded to every single continent on the planet, including Antarctica. It's so amazing. It's crazy. Hey, I want to thank the folks who made today's show so wonderful. Of course, we're going to start by thanking Shirley Lopez. We also want to thank Danielle Lindner. I want to thank my team, Fatima Khan, Chris Doherty, Rory Brady, Raylan Tang. I want to thank my beautiful wife for all the support she gives me. Most of all, we all want to thank you. Thank you so much for taking the time to join us today. And as always, thank you so very much for taking the time to make the world a better place by reading with your kids. I'll be looking for you in the next episode of Reading with Your Kids.